I want to tell you a story about a headline that implies something that isn't quite true, but it's still an interesting story. A bunch of articles were written in the last 24 hours saying high schoolers have recreated Daraprim, that controversial Martin Shkreli owned drug, for 20 bucks. Australian high schoolers made the drug for 20 bucks and it sometimes sells for $110,000. It's not exactly true. Let me tell you what the real story is. There's this drug called Daraprim, which is used to treat parasitic infections in people with weak immune systems, pregnant women, people with HIV, etc. The active ingredient is called pyrimethamine. You might remember the controversy around Daraprim when in August of 2015, Turing Pharmaceuticals CEO Martin Shkreli bought the rights to the drug and then brought the price up from $13.50 per tablet, $13.50 per tablet, to $750 per tablet. Huge fallout, and we don't have to rehash that entire story, but that's the drug that we're talking about. Since then, high schoolers from Sydney Grammar in Australia have been working in their school lab to create the drug cheaply, as the story goes, in order to draw attention to the inflated prices of this drug. And they've succeeded. For the equivalent of 20 US dollars, a group of high school students created 3.7 grams of the active ingredient used in the medicine Daraprim. Now, to be clear, we're not talking about the drug itself. We're talking about the active ingredient. You would still need to further synthesize that and put it into a delivery mechanism. Is it a tablet? Is it a gel cap? What other ingredients are there? But still, the active ingredient, nearly 4 grams of it for 20 bucks. As far as Turing is concerned, following the backlash, the company did lower the cost by about 50%, but we're still talking here about something that can sell in the United States for tens of thousands or even $110,000. In most countries, including Australia, Daraprim is sold for between $1 and $2 per pill. So I think that this is a very interesting story, but to be clear, they didn't figure out how to do this. There's a Wikipedia article and many free resources which explain what the formula is to synthesize this active ingredient. I don't think that's the point. The headlines were sort of exaggerated, but what is the point, Pat, is that the prices being charged in the US are totally immoral price gouging.
Well, wasn't it true that also Martin Shkreli bought the rights to this particular drug so that no one else was able to rival him and compete?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was totally a play on being the only provider and then bring the price up. And Shkreli's defense at the time was, this is not a drug that a lot of people use. So it's not like we bring up the price and there might be millions of people that can't afford this. I think he said there were only about 2,000 people on this drug and that they were aware of every single one. And that even though they increased the book price, that they were ensuring that no individuals were unable to get it. And if someone really couldn't afford it, they would give it to them for free. That was his explanation. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But what it exposes, what that explanation exposes, that supply and demand is totally skewed in healthcare in the sense that if you're really sick and you need a drug, you really need that drug. And it skews the entire concept of what a market rate is, and it completely disconnects it from the costs of making that. So here's an example of sort of the lack of transparency. And this is a very common situation. Imagine drug number one costs $100 is the book price. Your copay with insurance is 10 bucks. Sounds pretty good. You just say, hey, it's 10 bucks. That sounds great. You have drug number two. It costs $300 at the book rate and the copay is 25. So you say as a consumer, well, I'm going to go with the $10 drug, not the $25 drug, except the manufacturer of the drug is offering a coupon for patients to cover the $25 copay. So now patients say, well, this drug is 10 bucks. This other one is 25, but I've got a coupon for 25, so it's zero. I go with the one that's cheaper for me, and it ends up with a drug that's 3 times more expensive being billed to insurance. This is exactly why you end up with insurance costs going up, premiums going up. It's just one aspect of it, just to illustrate one element of it. But this is why this is just fundamentally not an industry that should be thought of as an industry where money is being made.
And it's why the free market just shouldn't work in the context of health. It's not like you're coming out with a new style of shoes or a new high-tech television or something. This is something that's going to impact people's health and well-being.
And many countries have figured this out. Many countries have figured this out already. So in any case, the headline's overblown, but an interesting story, and it illustrates real issues nonetheless. We will take a break and be back with more after this. Remember, you can join the discussion with other viewers on our Reddit forum at davidpakman.com/Reddit. That's REDDIT. I'm on there every day. I'll talk to you there.
Gamefly is sort of like Netflix for video games. They have over 8,000 new and classic games for Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, PS3, Wii, and a bunch of other platforms. And you can play as many games as you want for one monthly fee. And if you find some games you want to keep, you can buy them for a low used price. There's never any due dates or late fees. And our audience can get a free 30-day trial at gameflyoffer.com/TDPS. The games are shipped directly to you with return envelopes included. There's no contracts, and you can rent games through the mobile app. Get the free 30-day trial for the David Pakman Show audience and support our show by going to gameflyoffer.com/TDPS.